I almost felt like Gillian's husband, Brian, should introduce Gillian, but he's introducing somebody later. That is a whole Berkshire story worth sharing right there, because I ended up connecting a business school classmate of mine with somebody that I'd met at the Debbie Bosanic dinner. That somebody is Gillian. Gillian, in case you want to pronounce it right, Segal. Segal, not Segal. Although some people would like to pronounce it Segal. Gillian, it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Hi. So I am the author of this book, Getting There. And to put the book together, I took 30 people from a broad range of fields, but they're all at the very top of their field. And I talked to them about the road they took to get to where they are, focusing on failures and obstacles and lessons learned. And they gave the best advice and wisdom that they had to offer. And what I would do is I would meet up with the person in person and take a photograph, a portrait of them, and then we would have a talk, and it would take about an hour usually. And afterwards, I would go home with about a 20-page transcript and narrow it down to about 6 pages per person. So when you read it, it sort of feels like you were sitting next to them at a dinner and being very nosy. And I tried to get the people to open up as much as possible, and I would tell everybody that I'm going to, put together this shorter essay, and I will send it back to you for your approval so you can get rid of anything you don't want, so let's just be open now. And of course, when I was putting together a book like this, I wanted Warren Buffett to be in it. So I sent a request to his office, and I got a rejection. And that was upsetting to me, so I sent another request, and I just got ignored that time. Then I was lucky enough to get invited to a charity event that Warren was going to be at. And so I said, all right, I'm going to ask again, and I'll see how it goes to try it in person. So I was at this event, and there was no time for me to actually approach him. But at the very end, they said, we're going to take a group picture with Mr. Buffett. And so I said, okay, now's my chance, because right after that, he was about to be let out of the room. And so we were all standing, and after the picture was taken and the group was dispersing, I went right up to him in his ear and gave him a 30-second elevator pitch for the book. And he said, how long will this take? And I just said, 10 minutes. Which we know. I'd never done anyone in less than about an hour. But I figured I'll take what I can get. I have my foot in the door. No. Anyway, so he said, okay, sort of backpedaling a little bit, call my office and speak to my secretary, and I'll do it for 10 minutes. And so I called his office, and I got on the phone with Debbie Bosanic, who is like Wonder Woman, because she is fending off people and protecting Warren Buffett. And she said, he has not told me anything about this, and I can't schedule anything with him. He might have said that in person, but I'm not going to schedule this. And I was like, wait a minute, this was just yesterday. And she said, all right, put it in writing and we'll see. So I used my entire high school, college, and law school education to write the best, most persuasive email I could, and quickly. And I got it to her in about an hour. And I got a response saying, okay, I'll give you an interview for 10 to 15 minutes, but I don't want to do the photo. People always say they're going to be quick, and they never are, and so it was on the plane ride here, and I was like, what did I write? I know I wrote something to get that photo. So I looked, and I actually was laughing because I can't believe I wrote this to Warren Buffett, who I'd never really met, and I treated him like a lacrosse teammate. I said, please don't sweat the photo. It will not eat into our allotted time, even if it ends up being a photo of you running away from me. And somehow that worked, and I got to take the photo. So I flew to Omaha, and the way I picked my hotel was the one that was closest to his office because I wanted no room for error. And, oh, wait a minute. Before I get to that part, I had to schedule it with Debbie. And this was something that was like so surprising to me, which is that once I had gotten in past her, she was telling me all of the available times, and it was like, okay, this week he's available Monday, and it was a huge block of time. Tuesday, huge block of time. Wednesday he has this, but Thursday, huge block of time. And I just realized he is who he is because he guards his time, and he has time to do the important things. He's not overscheduled. So that was an interesting insight into him. Anyway, so I get to his office way early, and I set everything up because, as I told you, I've never done this so quickly. And then it was like right before our time had come, and I went to the bathroom, and when I got out of the bathroom, he was already in his office, and I was sort of treating it like a race car pit where you try to maximize every second. So I came walking in his office with my camera on my eye, and I was like, I know you're pressed for time and whatever. And he just said, oh, don't worry, I have loads of time. So I relaxed, and I took his photo, and then we talked, and we ended up spending about an hour together. And then I had taken that 10 to 15 minutes literally and had to get to the airport for my flight, and he was really nice and had someone drive me in his actual car that he drives to work to the airport, and I got a little tour of Omaha on the way. And then the work began for me to rearrange this essay. So I spent, about a week doing it, and I sent it to him, and I was a little nervous, but I got an email back saying, you don't need to change a thing. You got my voice right and my ideas right. Maybe you should start writing speeches for me. And I was like, okay, that is great. Done with this Warren Buffett chapter, and I'm moving on. But then a few months later, I was out to lunch with a friend, and he said, what did he think of that photo you took of him? And I said, I didn't send that guy my photo. I mean, he gets his picture taken all the time. He doesn't need a photo. And my friend said, but yours is so good. You should send it to him. So I went out, and I bought a $10 frame, and I sent it to him, and one for Debbie. And lo and behold, a little while later, I got an email from them saying, we love the photo, and you ruined it for all of the other photographers because everyone says they need so much time, and you did that so quickly. Oh, wait. Here's the photo. That's him in his office, and he talks in his essay about his father and how, he always thinks about how his father would view everything he does. And there's a portrait of his dad in the background. Anyway, so then, what? And the too hard pile, which is hard to see because of the light. But anyway, so then they said, are you going to come to the annual meeting this year? If so, Debbie would like you to come to her Friday night dinner, and Warren would like me to come to his Saturday night dinner and the brunch on Sunday. So, of course, I came, and I have been coming ever since. And when the book came out, Warren selected it as one of them to be sold at the Bookworm on the Floor. So that was a big honor. And I just want to say that coming here has really changed my life because I have had the opportunity to get to know so many incredible people, a lot of whom are in the room right now. And the Guy doesn't like it when I give him this shout out, but especially Guy, who is a super connector and one of the sweetest and most generous people I know, and he introduced me to my husband and officiated at our wedding, and yes, he did pronounce my name wrong. Instead of Segal, he was saying Segal, which made me seem a little fancier. But anyway, the lesson of the story is if you see an appealing door, work as hard as you can to get your foot in it, and you never know what it will lead to.
Great job, Gillian. And when I saw Gillian at Debbie's dinner, I thought she was Kathy Barron Tamraz. And I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to learn about the acquisition of Business Wire. But that's...
The other lesson is look like Kathy.
Well, EQ through the roof, like the highest EQ you've ever seen in your life. And but the good news is that you can learn from it and it can rub off on you. So if you're like me and you have about 1/3 of Gillian's EQ, if you've got people like Gillian around you, you can learn from them.